Welcome to Watching Westworld, the officially unofficial podcast for Westworld on HBO. I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron.
And we just got done watching Season 2, Episode 8, titled Kiksuya. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Any idea what Kiksuya means?
It means remember.
Remember?
In Lakota.
Was that in the episode?
No, I looked it up before.
Okay. I'm like, God damn it. Did I miss something this immediate and obvious?
I learned how to speak Lakota in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, like Emily.
Yeah, I mean, so many people just give their storyline such short shrift that I decided I was going to really bone up.
You sure did. What do you think of this episode?
I thought this episode, I don't know what it means fully because I've just seen it the first time, but holy shit, I love the experience of watching it.
Okay.
Like, I love how almost all of it was seen through the eyes of Akichita, which is now we know how to pronounce his name correctly.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm sure I'll forget anyway.
I thought Zan McLaren was just incredible playing all the different things he had to play. Like for the first time for maybe the first or second time this season, I actually felt and connected with a host again.
Yeah, that's the most important thing this did, I think.
I feel like that then at the end, towards the last third of the episode, we got a lot of meat about like, what is going on with these Native Americans and why are they doing the things they're doing. And there's still some like, I definitely think there's going to be on second watch some like, the hell, like, why would they take a host that's been running around in the wild for 10 years evolving and just throw an update on him and send him back out? Like, why was he allowed to, like, why did they pick up his wife but not him? Like, there's a lot of annoying, like, but I mean, if there's going to be one or two of those head scratchers per episode, make it be like this, man, because this was just so artful. There was some beautiful shots. Like, every time, like the first time he showed up at the edge of like the forest and the desert and stood out over that cliff with the sun coming up, and then the second time he does it with his wife, like I just thought those were just stunning imageries the like I've not seen before. So what'd you think?
I'm a little more reserved on this episode. I think I need to watch it again to be sure, but I like the things that I like about it are how it kind of recontextualizes everything we thought we knew about the maze as involves the Ghost Nation, which was very interesting to me. Also, I like that it actually brings an emotional story to a character for once in this damn series. Like those episodes are few and far between for Westworld, and it's something that I've been complaining about with the show, like both between like the jumping around the timeline, like disconnecting me from the emotional impact that these characters' storylines should have on me. This one did none of that. This one was a very straight ahead like origin/romance story. Which I think I'm okay with. I'm a little concerned that we're on the downhill slope right now. And
we're all the way down now, Jim.
They took an entire episode to fill us in on the backstory of a single character. I'm a little worried that we're going to get that this week, and then maybe next week more of the same on a character that we maybe care a little bit more about currently.
I will say this,
but still, just like this is it, man. We're ramping up to the end of the series or the end of the season here, and I didn't feel like this was an episode 8. I feel like this was an episode 3.
I will say this, that I suspect that one of the things we'll talk about in the after season wrap up is that, I mean, who knows what's going to happen in two episodes.
Sure.
But I feel like that this season's shaping up to be like, there's about 7 episodes worth of material. And like sometimes that just happens. Like you're in the second act of a 5-act play and they're not all going to be equal, but HBO wants 10 episodes. They ordered 10 episodes. They're paying for 10 episodes. You're going to fucking get 10 episodes. But like, I felt like to the extent that some of these episodes are on the treadmill, like
well, I don't think this is a treadmill.
No.
I think it's something that needs to be done. It's just
but it does...
on the downhill slope. I don't know that that's what the audience is expecting. It certainly wasn't what I was expecting out of an episode 8.
Well, the thing that excites me is not only did this just make a beautiful standalone episode that showed another way that hosts can become conscious and kind of like free from the taint of Ford.
Yeah,
like
it doesn't
I felt
seem
like
he had any control.
one of the things that we understood or were supposed to understand is like, you know, Ford had his fingers all over Dolores and someone had their fingers all over Maeve, but just Kichita felt totally organic. And I think that's an important part of the story to tell. So like that's already interesting as hell. It's very amazingly jaw-droppingly gorgeous to look at. And then like there's a lot of kind of cool twists, like the idea that Akichita and Maeve are having this conversation through the daughter, and you kind of realize that in like the final frames. And there's also kind of that oh shit moment where Charlotte Hale is like, well, hell yeah, she's in contact and reprogramming a host. She's doing it right now. To me, like, I think that she wasn't just having the conversation with Akichita, she's also summoning help. That's kind of what I think is going to happen.
All right, calling in the cavalry.
Yeah. But yeah,
the cavalry can't save her though, can they?
Why can't they? Like, if she reactivates every like capable host within a 5-mile radius.
Yeah, but who has the power to fix her?
I don't know.
The hosts don't, in my mind, have the knowledge or power. Bernard. Yeah, he's the one. Go. You get Bernard in there.
Bernard and Elsie are still on the board, and yeah, I think that's the answer.
Can she summon Bernard? Can she issue commands to Bernard?
She says they have admin access, but I don't. You know, I always felt like Ford had admin plus.
Yeah, you know? Super admin access for sure. Yeah, so I think I need a second watch of this to really sort out my feelings on it. But I liked the episode. I thought it was possibly misplaced in the season, but we'll see.
The other thing
I'll only know that in retrospect.
The other little bit of commentary, it's like hearing Akichita speak in like this native Lakota tongue, with it just translated, you really appreciate how like complex and intricate their language patterns are. You know, I felt like for the longest time when Americans would see like Indians, or Native Americans, First Nations in like some kind of media, it would always be like they were translated into this like pidgin English that made them seem stupid or primitive. Yeah. And like it's interesting because they did have like they maintained this hunter-gatherer lifestyle, you know, I guess relatively speaking longer than some, but like their language is extraordinarily complex, and just you know, I keep on fucking talking about this goddamn Sapiens book, but it really drove home the point that like you know, this like how I guess what am I trying to get at, like that like a person 10,000 years ago was just as smart as you and I. They just had like not as much information at their fingertips.
Sure.
And like that information is like some kind of super steroid for culture, and like it kind of came independently throughout a whole bunch of cultures. But I just thought that was really cool to see like this very poetic and beautiful concepts coming out of like, you know, this character, and like how he looked before he was redesigned, when they made him like more and fierce, and like how he was able to play both of that, and he was able to play this very gentle man when he was talking to this little girl, even though he still had that fierce visage on. I thought that was cool. Also, when I was watching, it's like that particular type of makeup is so terrifying. Why don't like warriors do that today?
Because it just takes so fucking long to apply.
I mean, I guess if you're like doing like super covert you know, warfare, and you're like wanting to like do like camo, but like if you're a frontline troop, go full skull face, man. That shit's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like if someone came at you like that screaming, it would scare the fucking shit out of you.
No, I think it's just how long it takes to apply. Like I kept feeling for Zach this entire time. I'm like, oh God, he's got to sit in that chair. This like. You know, it's a blessing and a curse this episode for him, because he gets to be featured. He's the main focus of the entire episode. But goddamn, he must spend like 4 hours in the makeup chair every day.
Yeah, and like how I just thought of like when I saw that kind of like that whitewash like caking and drying on his skin, like it felt like every nerve in my body was experiencing nails on chalkboard.
Sure, yeah.
Like, how do you get used to that? Just sucking all the moisture out of you. It's like,
and how do you get that effect too? The makeup was really well done.
Yeah,
because they can't just have him look freshly painted all the time.
No,
he's got to look like he's been riding horseback through the sunny ass desert.
Right. And I wonder what it was the experience
for 9 years. Apparently,
I kept on thinking, like, what's the experience of Akichita when every day your fellow Braves like reset like clockwork?
Yeah.
But you persist, like, right?
I mean, it's
like,
that feeling of something just being wrong,
Yeah, I guess
being
that's
in
true.
that wrong world.
Yeah,
that he talks about.
Like you're just caught between this world forever and ever. And I also wonder, like, I mean, so here's where I go back to the complaints about Westworld. How the fuck does a host not get an update for 10 years? Like, if I had a policy where we only updated our servers when it crashed, you'd get fired. You get fired. You have like this. Like,
you're guaranteeing a crash.
This server hasn't been patched for 10 years. Do you know how big security? Like, there's no one did an audit on all of the hosts and saw that, like,
right.
I mean, maybe that's why. Maybe there's a scene that got cut out that explained like that he took some kind of damage that disabled his tracker or something. But even then, it's like, we have a lost host. We ought to find him. It's a decade. Like, that's the shit that annoys me, because they're so close to greatness, but that's a little thread that you start pulling, and I don't feel like there's a satisfying answer. It's just a hole in the quilt.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're leaning on that idea to kind of explain what you were talking about earlier, with them just updating a host who's been behaving erratically and been in the field for 9 years.
Right.
They're saying that this host is probably behaving erratically because he's been in the field for 9 years and he hasn't been updated. So just update him and send him back out. It'll be fine.
And I felt like the techs knew they'd be in trouble for this, but like that's several layers of management above you that's fucked up on that. Like,
sure, you can shove that shit back uphill.
Yeah, like how there's multiple layers of failure, unless they want to say that Ford was like allowing him this space. I don't know. But someone knew there was an Alpha 2 host running around, and
yeah, they should have, certainly.
But like, I feel like they're like, you know what, we're gonna put Zahn McLaren on the screen
and have him. Zahn. You're right.
Have him just act his fucking loincloth off, and no one will notice, except
the horse, who he's now riding completely nude on because he's got no loincloth. That horse will notice.
Yeah, but I thought it was cool. I thought it was interesting. This robot in this like very interesting situation, and experiencing his lifetime over and over and over again, and getting little pieces of the puzzle. And then, because I thought that there's been a couple of scenes where they used the piano music this year, and it was a little up its ass. Like, I remember I think Kanye's Runaway was early in season. I'm like, I thought that when we finally got the heart-shaped box, that was incredible. Like, him going down there and finding his wife in that cold storage was just like, I almost teared up, and like, I just met this dude.
Right.
Like, how the fuck?
It's a haunting image, and the music that they paired with it, really added to it.
But then the rational part of my brain is like, how is this fucking robot walking around all over Westworld and no one notices? Like, but I try to kill that part of my brain, so just the art can wash over me.
No cameras. There are zero security cameras in the entirety of the facility.
Tracking. There's no tracking at all.
We established that in season 1.
He's being updated as I get. Like, I feel like he was actively being updated, and he's still able to just walk around, and that's cool.
No, I was curious when they show early on Akichita finding the maze, right? Finding that representation of consciousness that Dolores eventually secured. And I found myself thinking, okay, how is the maze going to change their lives? And inspire this religion that we had, envisaged or envisioned them having. And it doesn't seem like that was so much their religion, more that it was a single man's quest to find the exit to this world that he feels wrong about, and to tell others how to find that exit.
And also, it's cool that he's like essentially using a scientific method. It's not a religion so much as like these are observations and theories that I have that I'm actively trying to test out. Like, it's not a correct understanding of the world, but it's more correct than deluded host A, you
Yeah.
know, or B.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
I thought that was kind of, it's like, you know, alchemy. Alchemy wasn't right, but it was a step in the right direction, and it was using like it was using the right tools to grope at an incorrect answer. But yeah, that
No, I like it because it was a better explanation for this than I honestly would have hoped for.
yeah.
My feeling on that was just going to be, oh, they're going to show us how, you know, the Ghost Nation people, the Lakota, I guess is their tribe name, kind of have this in their background and their history, and how are they going to explain that? And I wasn't seeing the pieces come together, but this actually did a really good kind of like, here's the line from Maze to, you know, exit.
There's a
And it almost ties the whole season together in that way, right? Like,
I think that
the explanation of this door.
I think that this episode bought them a little bit of breathing space, at least with me. Like, you know, like last episode I was getting really frustrated with some of the storytelling, and this episode, like, so many of what the other episode did wrong, where it's just like, you know, pointless action scenes that don't really hold together. Like, this was just all character moments and like interesting and unforeseen developments in the plot that nobody was really looking for or asking for, but felt like it made sense in retrospect, you know?
Yeah.
And that was good. Like, it's all almost entirely new information, and the fact again that they're able to make us feel about anything about this guy is fairly incredible. I do have one big open question. I understand now why the Ghost Nation robots or the Lakota robots would start to worship this, like, or you know, start fetishizing this maze symbol, because Akichita sees that during I also like that mythology of the Destroyer killing the Creator, and that's Wyatt and Bernard. And, you know, when the Destroyer returns, it's like this like anti-Messiah complex. But and they had this weird thing where like Akichita had he was carving this maze. Okay, so yeah, they did explain this. I think I just thought it through. Akichita was scalping his men, like that was an initiation, and then carving that thing on there, and then putting the scalp back so that the techs would fix it the next time, or their skin heals automatically, maybe.
Possibly. I don't know exactly how the aftermath of that works,
because
but I think you're right.
When that guy dropped to his knees and said, like, "Show me the way" or whatever, and Akichita scalps him, I think that's how they got that underneath their scalp, and that's the guy I think we see get his dome peeled back in the beginning of the season, where people are like, "What the fuck is this?" And like, I don't know.
Well, it was
that would also
a different actor at that time. It was like,
no, I mean, it wasn't I think it was the same Brave that we saw.
No, but there was an actor who died, right? That they were using.
No, that's in
early
season
on.
1. In season 2, the first episode, when they pulled the brain out of one of the Ghost Nations.
Right. Yeah,
it was the same guy. So like that would neatly, because we've always said like, well, how the fuck does this get underneath their scalp without anybody noticing? Well, if they're doing it themselves somehow, that's a brilliant explanation.
I feel like there's one other dot that they need to connect.
Yeah,
there.
I agree, because I had to kind of think, and there's a couple of gaps there, but shit, you know.
The biggest gap is, you see a scalp with the maze, and the tech goes, whatever, and puts it back.
Right, you know. I mean, they did have bigger fish to fry at that then and there. You also makes you wonder how the fuck William found out about it.
Yeah, sure.
Like he knew the look.
Well, there's clearly something going on with his family, because Emily speaks perfect Lakota.
Right, and she mentioned that she pays attention to their, you know,
Yeah, so, and I'm, as far as I'm aware, Man in Black does not.
No, he said I never took
the
time
to. I mean, this whole family is wrapped up in this maze riddle way deeper than we even thought.
I wonder if he, like, man, I'm trying to think if there's some kind of connection between Akichita and Maeve, like, you know, was made because like there's this special relationship where he said, I was watching over you, and he was trying to do that. I wonder if at some point she became his acolyte.
Well, I'm almost wondering if he's talking to both the daughter and Maeve at the same time here.
Although,
because Maeve is listening through the mesh network.
Yeah, but I think he knows that because he started explicitly talking to her at the end.
Right, right.
So I don't know. I feel like that's another there is some connection between those two characters and that's also the way they recontextualize that. Like this is Akichita, looking out for them, and
Look, this is the reason I need to watch this again, because I'm slightly confused by the ending. I think I thought what was happening there is that Maeve was issuing commands to Akichita to tell her daughter the heart thing. Is what I read it as, but I'm really up in the air on that. I have no idea.
I interpret it as Maeve is eavesdropping, but Akichita knows it.
I think that,
and he
I
also
think Maeve was eavesdropping the whole time. I'm not sure that Akichita knows it, and I think that Maeve takes over Akichita at the end to tell the daughter essentially that she loves her. My heart's with you.
Actually, that would be. I mean,
that's how I read it.
That's a valid way to look at it.
I'm really not sure.
I don't like it because it seems to be Maeve shoving Akichita's own agency to the side.
For sure, yeah.
Which might be a parallel back to bring her back to Dolores.
And I don't even know if she can do that, right? I don't. Where are the limits of her powers? I'm not sure.
But there's one phrase that makes me think that might be wrong, which is Akichita said, "If I will protect your daughter as if it's my own, and if you can live, find us." Like, he's not talking that. Like, that's not Maeve talking to her daughter. That's Akichita talking to Maeve. That's the only, and that I think was the last thing he said.
Okay, that would make sense.
So maybe Maeve tried it, and Akichita felt it, and was like, "Look, I got this. You don't have to fucking,
I don't even know if she tried it. Maybe
this is kind of dumb because we're just arguing over our hazy memories of.
Right. I was. Yeah.
But do you have anything else you want to talk about? Should we get to the?
I don't think so. Maybe I'm curious to see what chat has to say about that ending, because they can clue us in.
Yeah,
so.
I think it's a popular. You just straight up volume of feedback deciding reality.
Yeah, so that's it for the instant take. We're gonna move over to chat now.
All right. First up, Cody OB.
Coney O'Brien.
Cody OB. Yeah. So are they going to try to use Maeve to force stuff out of Bernard, setting up a Bernard Ford versus Mayhavale?
I don't know about those fucking nicknames, but yes, I mean the weapon is Maeve, right? Dolores said this last episode. They're going to use you.
Yes, they set that
and
up.
all of your various powers.
Right.
And this is them realizing, oh shit, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
we can now issue commands through Maeve to the mesh network.
Yeah, so I think
beyond they don't have to get back into the system.
Right, they can if they can force her to do things, and I think that's going to be whether people can come and save Maeve before she gets wiped, or can they take her over and use her as a backdoor to the hosts.
Right.
Yeah,
I find that exciting.
Cody OB. Oh, go fuck yourself. No, I'm just kidding. Emily speaks Lakota because hosts can speak all the languages.
Oh God.
I know, right? It's like, come on. I mean, he's not wrong.
Then we know the man in black is lying. He can speak Lakota.
Right, and he must not be a robot. Like, oh no, my God.
We know he's a host.
Okay, let me take your temperature.
Yeah. Everybody, let's just make them all hosts.
Man in Black a host? I'm still feeling good about that.
Here's the thing.
I'm still feeling good about him meeting himself at the end.
We're all the way down. There are more levels than just Westworld. The real world in Westworld, the real world in the TV show is another version of Westworld that they're going to have to escape once they get in. Everybody's hosts. Ford's a host.
Right. Yeah, they'll wake up in the real world and have to escape their HBO contracts, and then but it's for 5 seasons.
Oh shit!
Right. So then the hosts try to tank the show and get it canceled, so they can get that. See, that's season 6 of Westworld. Rob C. That was great, but the show has trained us to constantly analyze and not sit back and enjoy the ride. I mean, I felt that this for another time, for the first time, the spell really worked on me. Like every time my brain started to say, well, no, wait a second, how's this guy just wandering Westworld? It's like, shut up. Do you hear the heart-shaped box? It's just fucking let it work, you asshole. And it did. Like those things were like a couple seconds in my brain before I was intrigued enough by what was happening that it didn't pull me out. Came damn close, but didn't quite.
Yeah.
Metal Wolf. It was a pretty cool episode, but didn't really take the show forward, just telling another story of a different robot getting woke. But that's the show, though, right? Like this is a new way to get woke in a new way, and it's I think the important thing is it's sans Ford. Ford and Son. No, it's it's without Ford's assistance or help. It's like a
Oh
completely
yeah, the Awakening, sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does move things forward a little bit, like it inches toward that goal line of the
Right.
season finale. But I'm kind of with you. I don't know that I wanted this as my season 2, episode 8. Like I kind of wanted maybe this story a little more dispersed through the season, or just earlier in the season.
I will say that like I did like the fact that this was all in one episode. I don't know that this would work chopped up over 5 or 6 episodes, but I feel
probably not.
I don't want to get too much into like what I think about or is the pacing problems of the show, because I do feel like those are going to end up being valid. But hell, there's only 2 more weeks before we can just definitively say. And that's not the worst thing ever. Like if this show's chief sin was it had 7 episodes of the content that had spread over 10, like that's fine. Like because when people like, you know, when the fans remember this season, they'll remember the good parts and not the slow parts, and on a binge it won't be that big a deal.
Yeah,
it sucks for HBO because I feel like that kind of like dragging things out is what turns people away and like prevents the show from building momentum. Like, and when every episode is not a like, oh my god, must see the next. Like, you know, it's really easy, especially in the summertime, to drop that habit. You know.
Yeah, my prediction is this is going to be a very divisive episode. I think a lot of people are going to hate this episode.
Well, that sucks because on a meta conversation, like the last couple of weeks, we've been a little bit negative, and then like if we zig and we've got an audience that's already zagged, and we've self-selected all the ones that are the quote-unquote haters.
Oh yeah,
like,
we'll drive the rest away.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, it's just the HBO problem. We had the 7 podcasts worth of good shit, and we have to release 12. So what are you gonna do? Cody OB. Spoiler, chat isn't sure about the ending either. All right. Well,
God damn it, chat.
That's a good.
Why do we even keep you around, chat?
That's right.
If you can't help
Shut
us
the
out
chat
in
off.
moments of need.
Fuck it. We're gonna do it live. I kind of think that's cool. That
the chat doesn't know.
No, yeah, like that's such that it's ambiguous, you know. Like I think this show kind of thrives on ambiguity.
There's definitely a thing they're going for there. I just need to watch it again and see what it is.
Jeremy R. I enjoyed the episode as well. I just don't understand why Maeve had to almost die to tap into the mesh network and realize that Kichida was a good guy. Why couldn't she have picked up on that when she went back to her daughter with Lee and crew? I mean, they did make that point that this technique was unlocked due to undue stress and strain. And she also, I don't think, you know, we talk about her having a robot and she has a lot of perfect abilities, but I also think she's able of being overwhelmed by her emotions and just, you know, having her daughter there and being trapped in that situation was very hard for her to deal with. Plus, she was fighting the Man in Black, and you know,
no, she's been heads down finding her daughter the whole time, right?
Right. I'm prepared to let these robots be human a bit.
Yeah.
You know,
especially Maeve. Maeve seems to be the most human of any of them.
Yeah. Rob, so does it map with that the English was spoken to the daughter and Lakota was spoken to Maeve?
Does it?
That's something I'm gonna be looking for in
Always?
second watch. Like if you go, on the second watch, I'm gonna be looking to see if there's a rhyme or reason from him switching from English to Lakota.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we know
I
Maeve
noticed
can
he
speak
did
it.
that, and I was curious why.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could be just one is for Maeve, one is for the daughter.
That's a good catch, though. I don't know if it's right, but it's sound, and I'm going to be checking for it in second watch. Captain Gabe, Lee was really great. Kind of made me sad because it won't be easy to make fun of Lee anymore, but he was always a good sport. Yeah.
Just give him an episode. Whip out his dick.
Put
He'll
him
pull
in
his pants down.
Put him in the Colombian roast uniform and have him slinging Folgers, and we'll be right as rain.
Yeah.
If all else fails, take his pants off.
He's going to wet himself. Next episode, he'll wet himself.
Plus, it's like he's still kind of a shitbird. Like he wanted Maeve to be. I think he feels good. I feel like he's genuinely sorry for what's going on with Maeve. But the way, I guess that's smart. He's trying to get these people to help just by saying, "Look at what an aberration she is." But it seemed like a betrayal.
And here's what I love about it. It's
especially since shouldn't he be trying to find Felix and Sylvester?
They're somewhere. He knows where they are. They're good.
Well, I mean, they can help. They can help in a way that he can't, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I do really love Lee's turnaround here, though, because he has now, in my opinion, appreciated what Ford was trying to fucking tell him in season 1 about his overly written narratives. Trying to tell people too much about the adventure and like have these grand storylines when it was something so subtle. It was something so simple that brought him around to this emotional feeling toward Maeve. It was a thank you, right? Like you can see it on his face when she says thank you to him.
Right.
Something changes in him, and now suddenly he cares about her. Right. This is the difference between Lee's storytelling and what Ford would have him do.
Let me ask you, if you, now that you brought that up, it jogged another memory on me. There's this like really kind of throwaway moment where the tech is reprogramming Akichita for the first time to be the more violent version of him, raises his aggression and all that. But they left the man underneath largely intact, which, by the way, is something I think we're supposed to also understand about Teddy.
Okay.
Because Teddy essentially had the exact same thing. They didn't change any of his, like, they just upped his,
they changed his attributes around.
And also, like, I noticed when Teddy was starting to make his own decisions, even if they're bad decisions, you hear this, like, ever-present fly buzzing. And when Akichita saw that maze in the old Sweetwater after the destroyer came and killed the creator, there was a fly that landed on his hand. Like,
I saw that.
Intentional imagery, like that's like some kind of like breath of life being blown into them. But did you think, shit, I went on this big ass diversion, I forgot my point. God damn it, that was a really good point.
Well, chat, we need you. What was Aaron's point?
That was a really good point I was about to make. Why did I have to go through 4 separate I hit limbo. I went 4 levels deep and I hit limbo. I was all the way down. It's just Jim and big fat fucking Matt Damon looking at me. God damn it.
I'm sure we'll just chalk it up. That was a great point.
It was. It would have been.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post. Rob C. This episode 100% establishes the Argos Delos security QA has been awful from the jump. Yeah, I don't know if that's good though.
Why? What?
I mean,
because they only pick up the one and not the 2 hosts,
and the host can just get up off a table and wander around.
Oh no, this was the most believable walking away from a host that I've ever seen. Like, if you've got a 4-hour patch to do and your computer is down in the meantime and it's lunchtime, you're gonna fucking leave, right? Like, I get these techs leaving the room while a host is updating for 4 fucking hours.
But I'm saying, just, do you believe that Akichita can
that he can walk around?
That's
no,
what I'm
there are
saying.
security cameras.
Like, I believe he can get up and make it down a hallway, maybe 2, but like, at what point does it be like, the fuck is this guy? I mean, it's not like he would survive even the most cursory glance.
No.
Like some of the hosts, like you see Teddy without his hat, he just kind of looks like a dude in a suit jacket. Maybe. Yeah, he's got cowboy boots.
Or, you see Angela when she's
this
a
dude
greeter.
in full war paint, like there's no fucking way he passes.
No, he doesn't. Maybe everybody's out to lunch, including security.
Yeah, Rob, I was saying something about Teddy, but unfortunately, that's like the first diversion that, that's like, when he
I was talking about this subtle thing with.
Well, let me try to reconstruct this. So they said that they took the man and they amped his aggression, and when they yes, the point that I was going to make. I think there's this very subtle point about the divide between Bernard or Arnold and Ford, because Arnold, who I think you're supposed to understand kind of like set the default state of the alpha version of Westworld, had these very nuanced, like, characters, like these like Native Americans as they would actually live, and they weren't particularly fierce or violent. They were just out there living on the land. And Ford came back and said he's like, we need to amp these guys up. We need to make them easier to kill, and like, because Ford just wanted these black and white Western kind of stories of high adventure and whatnot, and
so
just very black and white villains.
Ford was Lee early on, writing these ridiculous stories. And that somewhere along the way he grew into the narrative.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to understand that, like, that was the way Ford rolled, and that was one of the chief frustrations between Bernard and Arnold and Ford, is like Ford just wanted these guys to be cardboard cutouts to like prop up the real heroes or to highlight their heroism, and Arnold's trying to make them people.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So thanks
Glad
for
you remembered it.
Thanks for jogging my memory, Rob. I don't know that made the podcast, but it would have bugged me if I didn't remember it.
I'll probably talk about it again on the Tuesday show. So
Adam S. In Shogun World, didn't they establish that all the hosts spoke all the languages?
Yes.
But in a very annoying, but they somehow can't access that ability because
unless they're woke,
they're under Delos control. Like they did establish that every host can do this thing.
Yes.
Like presumably every host could do the Maeve thing too. But I don't know, something is broken very selectively. Host can. Ethan F. I believe the director in this episode is the original camera operator on The Wire and the current director on The Deuce. I guess Cecily just put an editorial note that says IMD confirms that. So,
all right.
So cool. I mean, the guy, I'll say that like The Wire has a certain charm to it, but like there's nothing in The Wire that looked like some of this desert imagery.
No. And
especially, I really loved, goddamn, how do they find a location that perfectly shows a man torn between two literal worlds? Like, it looks like if a Magic the Gathering artist is like, hey, do a fucking mountain forest mashup. It would look like this, and they found that in real life, where it's like half forest and half just bleak desert. Goddamn. Location scouts and the guy shooting that.
Or maybe they just did it all in CG.
Thank you.
Hate to burst your bubble.
Karin, I think. Who was the writer? It was Gina Atwater. Thanks for the assist there, Cecily. Captain Gabe, Cape Gabe. Aaron, I'm not too sure to Man in Black as a host, but could you do me a favor and say analysis to Jim? Just wondering. Yeah, I don't think it works. Analysis. See, he's still. Oh shit! Fuck. We figured something out. Just go back to what you're doing. I don't know. Kamish 42. How can a host have memories of a prior life when it gets reset from cradle after its head is blown off or died in a fire such as Maeve? How could a completely new host have the old memories?
When it gets its head blown off?
Yeah. Or died in a fire.
The
cradle.
The cradle is the answer. Yeah. All of the hosts are backed up in the cradle.
Yeah.
That's where they're restored from.
And Ford. See, here's the other thing. It feels like the Reverie code can't be a new thing because Akichita is able to, like, as an alpha host, recall his past life enough to. Maybe that's an accident. And you know what? Maybe that's what gave Ford the idea for that. Mm-hmm. When he found out about Akichita and saw what he was doing and was like, this is a way for me to like liberate these guys or make them conscious on a large scale.
Could be. I don't know.
But yeah, it's got to be they can just pull the fresh copy. Now, the other question I guess is like, do they do live backups? Because
it seems like they would have to.
Right. Or all the host experiences seem like they get saved, and maybe there's a way for them to tap into that over some kind of wireless frequency. I don't like. Again, some of this tech they haven't really fully explained, and some of it's contradictory too.
How would you distinguish between a life that you lived in the cradle and a life that you lived in the park?
That's a fucking good existential question. I like it. Maybe you can.
Because I'm thinking, like, wouldn't they have lived many, many lifetimes? Wouldn't they have met many hosts? Or are the hosts in the cradle not used to restore hosts that are in Westworld?
Let me put on my black leather trench coat and my mirrored sunglasses and say, what if I told you that we'll find out
I'm the blue pill. Blue pill.
Okay, next question. That many of these experiences that we've seen as flashbacks are things that were modeled in the cradle, maybe even perhaps by Ford and Bert.
That's kind of where I was going.
What if I blew your mind and said that we are actually still in year one of Westworld, and this is something that Arnold and Ford are engineering so they can unleash it upon the world? Nah, that's stupid. That's too dumb even for me. If I got that email, I'd say fuck you, delete. So
it's really the only explanation though for what we saw with Angela last week, that this guy would be in a virtual reality simulation and knew it.
Right.
He saw the maze, right? And he
Right.
knew he was in there. So he said, fuck it, none of this is real.
Right.
I'm just going to try and bang this.
So yeah, Ford, every time Ford and Arnold ran the simulation, they got to this point and they're like, well, no one fetched like, well, you know what? Let's put a pin in this. Set his bulk apprehension or to zero.
To zero, yeah.
Yeah, to zero, and set his libido to 20 or 14 or whatever to maximum.
Yep.
And there you go. That's why that guy did that. It's the only explanation.
Mm-hmm.
But why wasn't it shot in the aspect ratio?
They forgot.
Ah,
It was a production error.
I like that better than they wrote that scene. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm on
Yeah.
board with that explanation.
That's fair.
Rob C. I'll never get tired of seeing Anthony Hopkins carving people up in the dark.
Why was he out there doing that? Is he
'Cause
like,
think he
I
was
got to see it for myself?
I think he was investigating his whole, like, he's just a
Shit.
business. And
Yeah.
also, like, it's fucking, yeah, it's Hannibal, man. It's Hannibal Lecter.
Well,
it's
yeah.
so fucking cool. And I didn't even
That's
realize
good.
it until Rob pointed it out. Aaron McP. Bernard did say in season 1, episode 10 that hosts have awoken up several times in the history of the park. Maybe he was talking about this case.
I don't think so, because Arnold wasn't around at that time, right?
I
mean, Arnold was shot in the fucking head.
I also wonder, like, if there's different degrees of woke. Like, this natural state of wokeness that Akichita has achieved, is it the same kind of wokeness that, like,
Seems
Dolores
like it.
has?
Well, I think that's why he tells Maeve that we're on the same path.
I agree.
Because they're both looking for that
One thing
door.
that doesn't make sense is why he's saving humans. Maybe humans just like because he's not a bloodthirsty person, and these neither help nor hinder him. Like, he's trying to gather his people together. These are just. But
yeah, why would he want Lee?
I don't know. Why would anyone want Lee?
Fair.
Why
Fair
is he trying to
question.
take the humans out and gather them together and then kind of leave them? I'm sure there's got to be an explanation for that. That's a huge question.
It is, yeah. Maybe that's the question we've never thought to ask.
There you go. There you go. Kamish 42. It does seem strange that this huge park with thousands of employees, and yet Akichito can wander around and not bump into one person in the maze. Yeah, it's like if you went backstage in Disneyland or Disney World and just were able to navigate from one side of the park to the other and not have a single employee notice you.
And you
like,
were,
as a tourist.
You were in full body war paint.
Right.
With
Yeah.
hatchets in your hands.
Exactly. Although that
Yeah.
and that particular thing, that Disney World, that might make you stick out, or they might just assume you're a cast member.
Yeah.
Oh, he's out doing the whatever. I'm sure it is. Do you have a new cowboy in Indian attraction?
Completely nude. How about that?
Seems
You're
like a
just
throwback.
completely
Seems like
nude.
a throwback to the 50s kind of thing, but whatever. People. You don't think people are walking around nude backstage in Disney World? Let me tell you.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
think Goofy is just like
The second Goofy
the
gets out of
second
100
he strips
degree,
down.
99% humidity Orlando day, he's
Yeah.
just rips his head and clothes off and runs naked. That's his standard decompression.
it just slides into
That's standard decompression protocol. Anyone that's wearing a big felt head gets to run around and scream naked for 10 minutes after they're done.
mandatory.
Mandatory. It's not even suggested. It's mandatory. Sam Sipe. I wondered, it seemed like the redhead boss, after she said send him back there, said quietly, what was up with that? Said quietly. Oh, I think it's because they think that they're going to be in trouble for letting this massive breach of protocol happen. But I don't know. At some point, like, if like all hosts would be updated and it's like been 4 weeks and you missed one, that's your problem. If it's been 10 years, that's your boss's problem.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like,
The procedures
did
are
you
clearly
sign
not in
off on
place.
this lady? Did you sign off? Like, yeah, like with the quietly, that just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense.
It's like if 10 years from now,
If you have any kind of background,
you looked at our back catalog and said,
Right.
holy shit, we never posted a single Walking Dead episode.
right,
Ever.
right,
We never
yeah.
posted them.
Yeah. It just, someone would notice that. Like,
Yeah.
if you have any kind of background in software development or IT or, versioning, like, this just doesn't pass a sniff test. Aaron McP, they could copy Maeve's code and transfer it to hosts they control. Oh.
They could.
I never even thought about, like,
But would they control them at that
there'd
point?
be like an anti-Maeve. Yeah, what does that even mean? Like, can
physically
you...
control? Like,
No, can like I'm saying, like, can you isolate the part of Maeve's code that lets her take over other hosts and put it into a non-woke host and still have it work? Like, I wonder if those things are severable.
I mean, you could probably create duplicate Maves, is my
Right, but I'm saying the
feeling.
second you put that code into her, like, would it work without all the other stuff that makes her self-aware, or would putting it in that make her self-aware?
I think if you directly did a one-to-one copy of her entire brain, she would be self-aware.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But I'm guessing they take just that part out.
Oh, why?
Because
You could just
well, the
make
other
copies
thing-
of Maeve
here- here's-
into physical
so
forms.
they can't do that because the cradle's gone. The only thing they could do is try to copy her code into an existing host, right?
I don't
I
know.
do
They
feel
still
like-
have access to their code. They can read the code. If they can read it, they can copy it.
You know what we need?
And if they can read, they can write.
We need an Antichrist. We need an Antichrist figure for this show. It does feel like, I mean, what everyone's plugging around is an idea that there's going to be a Maeve, right? A negative version of her, an opposite.
Yeah, and we've thought for a while that's been Dolores.
And it might be still.
Yeah.
Or Dolores's words last episode might be prophetic, and Maeve, the one that we've kind of sympathized over Dolores, might be that anti-hero.
Unwittingly, but
Yeah.
still.
But still, yeah. That would suck. That would feel like a real gut punch, honestly.
I mean, it's the,
and I'm
it's
saying
honestly
that in a
the
good
ultimate
way.
rape, right? Like
Sure.
she can be physically abused. She can be, reset over and
Right.
over again. But then to take the very thing that she values and that makes her special,
Yeah.
and to use it as a weapon against her own kind,
Yeah.
to destroy them and bring eventually herself down.
Yeah,
That's
horrifying.
Incredibly fucked up.
That is like, it's like body horror only of the mind.
Yeah, it's mind psychological horror of the highest degree.
Yeah, God, that's dark. That's fucking dark. Commish 42. Do we have an answer now why Ghost Nation was helping to save humans prior? Nope, I don't think so. We just kind of pondered that.
We might. I think Reddit will puzzle it out.
Yes.
Reddit will figure it out,
or there'll be
and
50
some,
theories
and some good ones.
Yeah,
some strong ones.
Oh yeah, I think there's going to be some good theory reading the next day or two.
Yeah.
Cape Gabe. The real answered question is, who is Lakota's tribe's dermatologist to treat the contact dermatitis from wearing paint for 9 years? That's what I'm saying, man. The thing is the Zan McLaren's character is only 23 years old. That paint application just makes him look like, because I think he's like 50 something.
Yeah,
like he's only that Brave is only like 24 years old. It's just that paint has just sucked all the moisture out of. He's like fucking Mum-Ra from the Thundercats.
Must be.
Jeremy R. I found Kiksuya strolling down the cold storage a bit absurd too. Preach. Preachita. Seth Wesson, what could the Man in Black's daughter do that could be worse than Ghost Nation? Just taking him out of the park. So I was questioning that. It's like, did she just play a Kiksuya that she's like, oh, trust me, and she just loads him on a helicopter and that's it? Because I think the Man in Black would think that was bullshit at the highest degree. Like that would really kill him. But a Kiksuya would be like, I had some sick shit planned for this man. Like, I get from a certain point of view your bullshit, Man in Black's daughter, Emily, but no, I had some really sick, demented things I was going to do. All of us hosts had some plans for this motherfucker. We did. Those plans did not include load him onto a helicopter to get him some fucking therapy on the mainland. No. So
Maybe she could load him into a helicopter and then scalp him.
Right.
That'll work.
Yeah, scalp him at the Mile High Scalping Club.
Yeah.
I don't know, but my first thought was, taking him out of the park against his will when he's so close to completing whatever fucking spirit quest would be a fate worse than death for him. Alas, I don't think that's what's going to happen. Kamish 42, if you visit Westworld, are you looking for hosts with cellulitis? Why build that into hosts? Cellulitis.
Oh, the large, let's say rotund hosts that are in there.
Not everyone. What the?
You got to get the variety in there.
Yeah, man, and also some people are looking for that.
Some people are very much looking for that.
Right. So you going to turn those guests away, or make their preferences any less valid? I don't think so. Zach Dead, this maze made me think it was a QR code for the hosts that link or lead them to something in their mind. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Like it's like a visual virus. It unlocks something deep inside them when they see it. Something that Arnold put there.
Well, I mean, we very much know
that is Arnold's
what
game,
the
right?
maze is, right? Like there's no question about what the maze is. It's just a question of how Kiksuya has interpreted it.
Why that symbol? Why that symbol? Why that
because
maze?
it explains that consciousness is not a straight line. Consciousness is a maze that only the person in the center can find their way to.
But why does it exist in? If it's just a metaphor, why the fucking symbol?
I think that's because that's the thing that made Arnold realize that the path was more maze-like, wasn't it? Like he saw his child playing with this stupid toy thing. And it struck in him an idea of how to get the host to consciousness.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So it meant something very specific to Arnold, and now it means something very, very nebulous almost to Akecheta, but he's getting there.
Kamish42, why couldn't Akecheta find the door the next time he visited Stop? Was his programming changed so he couldn't see it even when he looked right at it? That's a good idea. My thought was that by the time he got back, found his wife, and brought her back, they had finished construction and it had been covered.
Yeah.
And that also, like, when that thing floods, I mean, they smoked that, geologist smoked this out in like week 1 or 2, but like this is the place that's going to get flooded. The valley beyond is the thing that William. I mean, we already knew this, but it was kind of neat. I'm just saying,
to see the place.
It just looks like by the time he got back, it was finished, and now he couldn't see it. Although, honestly, your idea that like the programming just changed so it didn't look like anything to him would work for me too. Nolan K, has this episode shown us that the host is more likely to become woke if a close relationship of theirs has been replaced by a new host at some point? It does seem that way, doesn't it? Like, maybe Westworld has been accelerating this by just willy-nilly replacing people.
And didn't Maeve start to gain consciousness when Clem was replaced?
I can't remember the sequence.
Yeah, I can't either.
I feel like Clem was replaced pretty late in the season. But maybe not. But I mean, just this episode alone has a lot of strong evidence of that.
Yeah.
That's something that the host can't quite place, but they know it's wrong, and that's the thing. Like, there's the fact that they're all waking up and knowing that there's something wrong in their world. Let's see. Rob. So was Akecheta's moment with Ford what started Ford on his Gala Endgame? That's a good theory. I don't know that we have enough to say. So
no, because Ford essentially explained that this is going to happen.
He already had that end game, like a key,
and watch for it.
Right. He was just. I can't. Like I said, my idea is that he had heard about Akecheta or had found out somehow, and that he was somehow studying him. But he had already. You're right. Like, just the age of Ford, like. That wasn't Ford 10 years ago or 15 years ago. That was kind of present day Ford. So it had to happen pretty late in the game.
And he was telling him, look, this thing is going to happen. The Demolisher, the Destroyer, or whatever is going to come for me, and watch for it.
Brandon W., I feel like Akecheta taught maybe Maeve how to become sentient with repeated showing her of the maze. I don't think she would have woken up without him. That's a perfectly valid theory. Like, I don't know that we can prove it or disprove it, but, like, it does seem like... Or, why did Akecheta catch... Why did Maeve catch Akecheta's eye? Like, why did he single her out as special, someone to be looked after and protected? I wonder if there's another back, or, like, if you dig deeper into Akecheta, because, like, we also know that Akecheta started off as, like... the liaison with Logan, like in a suit and all that. So, like, I wonder if Maeve and him go back to like a pre-alpha version of the park, that they had some existing relationship. There's something to that.
Yeah, it's a good question.
There's something that, like just in the same way Dolores was special because she's one of the first, and she was one that Arnold kind of directly worked with. I wonder if there's some kind of like really relationship there that we haven't understood yet. Joel J. Maeve was told the line, "These violent delights have violent ends" in season 1. That's what woke her.
I don't think so.
Sorry. I mean, I don't know what to make with "these violent delights have violent ends" anymore, because that did seem like it had a lot of gas early in the season, but it's almost entirely. I would have said it was entirely abandoned. It was a legacy of the first season that they largely reshot and redid, but then they brought it back for Westworld, so that's annoying.
And Abernathy has been still speaking it, in various remixes.
But it can't be the thing that wakes people. Maybe. Oh, and the other thing, I guess, is there is no one thing that wakes a host up. Like, that's one of the other things I think this episode is trying to teach us.
Yeah, almost that this seems inevitable.
Right. Right. Rusty, did we witness the origin of Ford changing his mind about the host consciousness? I don't think so. I think by the time he was butchering, he was scalping Ghost Nation guys, he had already figured that out.
Yeah.
Joel J, didn't Emily say that she learned Lakota because she wanted to immerse herself in the world she was in? She took it at a different level of detail over William. I just thought she mentioned some offhand, like most people don't pay attention to their storylines. So it shows her as being more curious or whatever. But I don't know that she said that because she wanted to really immerse herself. But honestly, it's been the only I think the only place that dialogue would have came up was when she was talking to the non-host dude that she rode in the riding houses. But I don't have photographic memory of that. Jeremy R, any idea behind the meaning of what Akichita said to Stubbs now?
Yeah, that thing about being forgotten
when the last person remembers you is dead.
Yeah. No.
Nope. Give us till Tuesday. Some time, give us some time to think about it, because that's another open question that should start coming into focus about now. Zach Day just has that quote for us. We already had it. Because I did have memory of that. Pioneer Art, Mesh, can you recall as long as one other host recalls? Interesting. So
I don't know.
I don't even know what you're trying to assert there, Pioneer, but my interpretation of it is maybe Maeve can't die as long as Akecheta is like linked to her. I mean, that would be.
I was thinking maybe they were talking about what he said, Stubbs there.
What I'm saying is like maybe, but like, because Akecheta doesn't have, like, he doesn't understand that I'm a robot, this is a human, like, you know, it's all very metaphor to him. That's so true. Maybe he's just saying a truth, but he's saying it to the wrong person in the wrong context. But it's a clue to us to know something very real about the world. Cody OB, does anyone care about more about Dolores and Akecheta after tonight? I want to hear Jim and Aaron's robot power rankings. I mean, Dolores has fallen pretty far, and I know that, like, I've seen like some conversations where the person that plays her, Evan Rachel Wood, has kind of like mixed feelings about that, because I feel like she's kind of feeling like taking this personal, that like, oh, Dolores is rough riding and being a badass, and suddenly people hate her character when she's not a damsel in distress. I think that's a pretty shallow. I mean, there's certainly probably, knowing the shitbirds that live on the internet and comment, there's probably some of that. But
she's become a villain in season 2, though.
I do think that, and I think that, like, she's intentionally more of a one-dimensional character because of something that the showrunners are trying to do, and she's just kind of taking the brunt of that. But yeah, like, Akicheta has shot towards the top. Like, he's in the top 5 robots I give a shit about. Maybe in the top 3. Maybe in the top 2.
Honestly, he's one of the characters with the most
Maeve's
focused characterization.
Maeve is number 1 for hosts I give a shit about.
Yeah.
Teddy is definitely in the top 5 because I think he's a fascinating character. This, like, paladin who's been completely rewritten. And again, I think we're supposed to understand that Akicheta and him have a lot in common. You know, I really like Hector still. I really like Armistice, even though she's a complete enigma. She's just cool. I try to think who else
of the hosts,
because Dolores is really I don't not care about her, but I care about her more the way I care about a tornado. Like, I definitely want to see where she's at and what shit she's fucking up, but like, if she just dispersed and went away, I don't know how much I'd be broken up about it.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm trying to think of other hosts that are interesting. I don't know. Clem's not interesting, and she's probably dead.
I mean, she's super interesting as a kind
not
of
as a
like,
character, like
no, as
a
lot, concept, like this like zombie thing that just keeps going, like is cool, is a neat, almost like anime concept. But yeah, she's not a character.
No,
she's a vengeful ghost. Let's see, Adam S. Okay, so Akicheta's woman is out strolling around the park somewhere. When are we going to see her? I don't think so. She's down in cold storage, right? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Jesus Christ, Cody OB. Whoa, Bernard's not number 1. I still don't necessarily think
he's a weird hybrid host thing. It's very strange.
Yeah.
There's
Like, is
There's
Jim
not
Delos
really
in
any
the
difference.
running?
He
Is
is
the Man in
definitely a
Black in
host.
the running? Is he like?
Bernard is most certainly a host.
Bernard is
Yeah.
torn between two
You're right.
worlds. He should have been he should have been standing out in that desert ridge, looking out with Akichida and his wife, because he's caught between those two worlds too. Fair. I'm chagrined. You caught me, Cody. Aaron McP. At some point, we were told that Maeve had a code allowing her to wake from sleep. That was when she saw the text. Then the reveries allowed her to remember. Yeah. I mean, I'm not super interested in like debating the exact moment that Maeve woke, and I'm not prepared for that argument. Jeremy R. I don't think Maeve caught his eye. It was the daughter who helped him. She just happened to be there. That's true. So
I think you're right.
But that implies that the daughter. So the daughters woke too.
Yes.
Or was Akichita wanting her to be woke, and now the thing is he's realized that
well,
his
she
target
remembers
was
the
wrong.
bad man, right? The Man in Black, and the bad man has done nothing
does.
in this particular iteration to her.
That's true.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Madeline B. Can only Alpha Generation hosts become woke? That's a strong possibility. Because we know for a fact Dolores is one of the oldest robots in the park. We know now that there's something like Akichita who's out there running around unsupervised for 10 years.
But we know that Bernard is not one of the oldest in the park.
That's true.
Because we've seen many iterations of Bernard.
But we saw a version of Bernard with like the alpha exoskeleton.
We did.
So he's pretty old. He's certainly old enough to be one of the non-biological hosts. Maybe that's the key. You had to start off as like the.
But he's not a host in the
Terminator version.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. I think Cecily made a note. She wanted to interject that she thinks what the guy was getting at about Akichita's woman strolling out the park is that all the cold storage robots were called out to kill the gala guests. So she's out there somewhere.
Oh, right. Now she would be.
Maybe that's what he's trying to do. Just round up everybody that's not a robot. Or, well, no, she would still be a robot. Him sifting the robots from the humans is what doesn't make sense. But yeah, that is kind of cool. That is kind of cool. David S. Dolores Army was okay. I think we're all caught up. I think that's the end of the chat. Lots of stuff still to discuss, and fortunately, we'll probably be. I mean, we'll assuredly be back with the episode this Tuesday. God knows it'll probably be 2 hours plus. I cannot wait to see what people come up with and all the feedback. To me, this is a real shot in the arm for Westworld. Like even if ultimately that maybe like on second watch it doesn't quite hold together, it was damn interesting and fun to watch for the first time. Anything else we got to? Is there like some kind of? Yeah, thanks for being a club member.
Outro,
thanks for supporting us.
Sure.
Hope you enjoyed the Instant Talk podcast. And come back, send feedback to Westworld at baldmove.com. Jump on the forums. We'll see you Tuesday.
Yeah, for the live recording. See you then.
Later.